For over 2,000 years, Cleopatra's final resting place defied discovery. Then a forgotten temple west of Alexandria yielded a mile-long tunnel that engineers now call a geometric miracle. Archaeologist Kathleen Martinez risked her career to chase what the experts dismissed. When her team uncovered tombs sealed with golden tongues, artifacts meant to speak to the gods, the answers buried below threatened to rewrite everything we thought we knew about Cleopatra's lineage. If this is the moment her DNA secrets are finally revealed, what did history miss, and why are some scientists calling it terrifying? The search begins at Taposiris Magna. Kathleen Martinez was not born into the world of Egyptology, but her conviction would come to challenge its oldest assumptions. For most of the 20th century, experts insisted Cleopatra's tomb must lie somewhere beneath the modern sprawl of Alexandria. Martinez saw something others missed: a pattern in ancient texts, a logic to Cleopatra's escape after defeat, and the religious pull of a temple dedicated to Osiris and Isis. In 2004, she set her sights on Taposiris Magna, a windswept ruin 28 miles west of the city. Few took her seriously at first. The academic establishment dismissed the notion that Egypt's last queen would be buried anywhere but her capital. Yet Martinez pressed on, spending years poring over classical sources and tracing the footsteps of a vanished dynasty. She staked her career and personal savings on excavations at a site most had written off as a footnote. For 2 decades, every season at Taposiris Magna brought new obstacles: collapsed chambers, local skepticism, and the constant threat of funding drying up. Still, Martinez persisted, driven by the belief that the truth of Cleopatra's fate lay outside the shadow of Alexandria. Her determination was not just about finding a tomb, it was about rewriting the story of a queen whose death had always been shrouded in myth. The search at Taposiris Magna was more than archaeology. It was a test of whether evidence could overturn centuries of certainty. Beneath the ruins of Taposiris Magna, engineers and archaeologists confronted a feat of ancient ambition: a tunnel stretching 1,305 meters, cut with mathematical precision through solid limestone. The passage, just over 2 meters high, runs nearly a mile under the temple complex, and its walls still echo with the effort of the workers who shaped it more than 2,000 years ago. Modern engineers compare its design to the legendary Eupalinian aqueduct of Samos, marveling at the accuracy achieved without modern instruments. The tunnel's purpose remains uncertain, but its scale and complexity point to a project commissioned for reasons far beyond ordinary utility. As excavations pressed deeper, the team uncovered a series of rock-cut tombs, 16 in total, hidden within the temple's shadow. Inside, several mummified bodies bore a striking detail: thin gold foil amulets placed in their mouths. In ancient Egyptian belief, a golden tongue allowed the dead to speak in the presence of Osiris, the god who judged souls in the afterlife. This ritual was reserved for the elite, a privilege of those destined for the company of gods and kings. The combination of the tunnel's engineering and these funerary rites suggests Taposiris Magna was not just a religious sanctuary, but a necropolis reserved for those closest to power. The gold-tongued mummies, entombed alongside the geometric miracle beneath their feet, hint at a royal secret still hidden in the darkness. Every discovery here raises the possibility that a queen's final refuge lies somewhere deeper within, waiting for the living to find her. In 1929, an Austrian archaeological team working in the ruins of Ephesus uncovered a tomb unlike any other in the ancient city. Its 8-sided design stood out, echoing the legendary Pharos Lighthouse of Alexandria, a symbol long associated with Cleopatra's capital. Inside the octagon, a single skeleton rested in a waterlogged sarcophagus. The tomb's architectural signature, its proximity to the ancient city centre, and the historical record of Arsinoe IV's execution in Ephesus all converged to ignite decades of speculation. Was this the final resting place of Cleopatra's younger sister? For generations, the possibility electrified both scholars and the public. The octagon's shape was more than a curiosity. It was read as a coded message, a deliberate invocation of Alexandria's most famous monument, perhaps signaling a royal burial far from Egypt. The timing matched known events. Arsinoe, captured and exiled after a failed rebellion, was reportedly murdered on Mark Antony's orders around 41 BCE. The The tomb's grandeur and isolation seem to fit the profile of a princess buried in exile, her fate a footnote to Cleopatra's own. As the years passed, the Ephesus skeleton took on an outsized role in debates about Cleopatra's ancestry. If the remains truly belonged to Arsinoe IV, they could provide the first genetic window into the Ptolemaic dynasty, a family whose origins and whose very identity had become a battleground for modern questions of race, heritage, and representation. Researchers and commentators alike invested the skeleton with expectations it was never meant to bear. The hope was simple, that science might finally resolve what history had left uncertain. Inside a controlled laboratory at the University of Vienna, a team of anthropologists and geneticists gathered around a battered skull from the Ephesus octagon tomb. For decades, scholars believed these were the remains of Arsinoe IV, Cleopatra's younger sister, a link that promised to unlock the genetic secrets of Egypt's last pharaohs. The team began with microcomputed tomography scans at 80-micron resolution, capturing every ridge and suture in 3 dimensions. Instead of relying on outward appearance, they focused on the petrous bone, hidden deep within the skull, and known for preserving ancient DNA better than any other part of the human skeleton. Under sterile conditions, they drilled out milligram-sized samples, careful to avoid even the faintest trace of modern contamination. The results, published in January 2025, landed like a thunderclap. DNA extracted from both the skull and the thigh bone revealed the unmistakable presence of a Y chromosome. The skeleton belonged not to a royal woman, but to a boy, an 11 to 14-year-old, whose ancestry pointed to Italy or Sardinia, not Egypt. This finding did not just overturn the Arsinoe hypothesis, it swept away decades of speculation about Cleopatra's maternal lineage and the racial identity debates that had swirled around the tomb. Forensic analysis of the microcomputed tomography data revealed another layer. The boy suffered from severe craniofacial deformities. His upper jaw was sharply underdeveloped, his teeth misaligned, and one cranial suture had fused decades too early, warping the skull's shape and function. These features suggested a life marked by pain and disability, possibly the result of rickets or a congenital syndrome. In a single publication, the Vienna team exposed the limits of architectural symbolism and visual analysis, showing that only ancient DNA could cut through the fog of historical wishful thinking. The skeleton in the octagon was neither royal nor related to Cleopatra, but a reminder of how science can rewrite even the most entrenched historical stories. The Ptolemaic dynasty's royal marriages followed a logic that defied even the norms of the ancient world. For nearly 3 centuries, Cleopatra's ancestors married their own siblings and close relatives, repeating this pattern generation after generation. Historical records and reconstructed family trees show that her parents were almost certainly full siblings, and her grandparents likely shared the same blood ties. Geneticists estimate that Cleopatra's inbreeding coefficient may have reached as high as 40 to 45%. For comparison, the child of first cousins has a coefficient of about 6%. Such a high degree of inbreeding is rare outside closed dynasties, and its consequences are well documented. The Habsburgs of Spain offer a parallel. Philip V, born of centuries of royal intermarriage, suffered from a host of physical and mental ailments. Within the Ptolemaic line, the cumulative genetic burden would have been immense, setting the stage for both visible and hidden consequences in every generation. Cleopatra's image on surviving coins tells a story that words leave out. The thick neck, the sharp jawline, the prominent nose were not the features of a goddess idealized for beauty, but the unmistakable stamp of a real living woman. Ancient writers like Plutarch described her as small in stature, yet her energy and intellect seemed boundless. Some modern researchers have speculated that the swelling in her neck, captured in silver and bronze, hints at thyroid disease, possibly Graves' disease, which can bring both fierce vitality and hidden exhaustion. Cleopatra's mastery of chemistry and medicine gave her access to substances like opium, blue lotus, and Kai-Fi incense, each with effects on mind and body. In a world where royal blood carried risk as well as privilege, she may have used makeup and fragrance not just for allure, but to mask the signs of chronic illness. The queen who outwitted emperors may also have been a strategist in survival, blending practical science and careful self-presentation to rule despite the silent dangers in her own genes. Science now strips away legend faster than we can rewrite it. As ancient DNA reshapes Cleopatra's story, it warns us even the most iconic legacies can hinge on a single strand. Truth isn't just buried underground, it is waiting in the code we have yet to decipher.